I can't lie. I can't lie, but being a Gen Z and, it being 2025 currently, sometimes I do wish that I was like born in the 1970s or before, or in a time in a time where things weren't as complicated as they are today. But then again, everybody has their issues, I don't know if I would be happier or if I wouldn't be happier, depending on the generation. Maybe I was born in the right generation. I just haven't learned how to ex I just haven't learned how to embrace it. But hey, welcome to my channel. Today we're reacting to 13 things from the 1970s. Kids today will never understand. Let's see what we got here.
There are some things that are unique to the decade that we grew up in. The 1970s was no different, having a distinct style that is easily recognizable, even to newer generations. But aside from the obvious disco and bell-bottom trends, there were more minute details that people living during that time will easily recognize. So here are 13 things from the 1970s that kids today would never understand. Options for watching TV were very different during the 1970s. For one, there were really only 3 TV channels plus public broadcasting. That's right, just 3. No streaming services, no endless options. You'd also have to get up and manually turn the dial to change channels. It was a time in which we waited for our favorite shows, which included nightly shows that were popular and Saturday morning cartoons. It was a big deal when you could pour a big bowl of cereal and binge hours of your favorite animated shows. But with the limited options on the television, it's no wonder kids spent so much time outside. Well, that and the fact that some parents made their kids go outside and play.
Yeah, I kind of wish. See, this is the type of thing that I wish that was today as well. Um, I think. Well, that's funny for me to say. Ironic, isn't it? Because I'm making a reaction channel where I watch content. But as a child, though, I think you should play outside. You should touch grass. You should do stuff, experience stuff. I think it's also a big thing on the development of the child, like motor skills and all of that. I can't imagine in 100 years what people or humans will be like if this goes on like this, because children don't go outside anymore. And also it's not safe to be outside nowadays like it was before. Or maybe it wasn't, but it wasn't like in the news all the time, and people felt better taking their children outside. I think like nowadays people are very careful, which is in a sense it's good, but in another sense, just giving your kid a tablet. mm, I don't know. I don't know about it, guys. What do you think? Comment down below. Also, comment down below your age. That would be so interesting. I was born in 2001. So I am kind of like nearly millennial. Yeah, but I think I still fit in the Gen Z category. I don't know. I don't know.
During the 70s, making a mixtape was an art form. It took patience and dedication to sit by the radio for hours, waiting for the right song to be played. It didn't matter how good your timing was either, because pushing down the play and record buttons at precisely the right time still sometimes had the DJ talking over the intro. And that was just part of the charm. Cassettes had their quirks too, like when they got tangled, and you would have to use a pencil to wind them back in. Cassettes made it pretty easy to create what we know today as a playlist, and this was the first time we could listen anywhere we wanted. Did you ever run around the house and pretend you were Superman or Batman? Well, if you did during the 1970s, then you most likely had on a pair of superhero underoos. For many kids, they served a dual purpose. They were underwear and part of a costume when you were strutting around the house, feeling invincible. Superhero underoos were more than just clothing. They were your identity, especially the ones that matched the actual superhero outfits.
No, bring that back right now. Bring that back right now. I did not have that as a child, but I did run around pretending I was Spider-Man. You know, I would do the thing where I don't know. I think every child has done this, but when you go in the doorway on a doorway, and then you put your hands and your legs on the doorway, and then you're like in the air, like hanging on the doorway, and that was like the coolest trick I knew when I was a child.
Nowadays, kids can never appreciate their underwear in the same way. Recollection Road is proud to partner with Life Story Pro. Watch until the end of this video to learn more about. During the 1970s, record stores were not just places to buy music. They were social gathering spots. Just like the mall of the 1980s, young people would hang out with friends, browse through vinyl records, and even listen to albums before they purchased them. Store employees at this time were also music enthusiasts, and they would recommend hidden gems. It also wasn't uncommon for you to strike up a conversation with a stranger who was into the same music as you. So the local record store was a special place, and yet another experience that is hard to replicate today.
That's really, really cool. That's really cool. Vinyl stores are really, or is still like a thing in Finland though. A lot of people have record players. I think it became like a new, it was like a in style kind of these years. And I think all of my friends in Finland, nearly all of them have a record player. I would like one too. I think it's really cool and the vinyls are really cool. But yeah, the stores are not like meeting places anymore. I wouldn't say so, but that's really cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Hitchhiking during the 1970s was surprisingly easy and acceptable. It was very common to see people thumbing a ride on the side of the road. Drivers would often not hesitate to pick up hitchhikers, and it was seen as a way to help out a fellow traveler. There was more of a sense of camaraderie on the open road back then, and that's hard to understand in today's world. But it wasn't without risk, and there was still a chance you might encounter a few weirdos, and that was just part of the fun. Nowadays, it's illegal to hitch free rides in many places, but back then, it wasn't unusual to find a service member, a student, or even a hippie thumbing for a ride. When you think back to the 1970s,
That could never ever happen nowadays. That could not happen. Like a student going from school to home, hitchhiking? No. That sounds like the start of a bad horror movie.
men had some serious style. They had manly mustaches, sideburns, big hair, and that distinct aroma of aftershave wafting around them. It was all about the macho look, and men took their grooming pretty seriously. This was also coupled with some pretty bold choices in clothing too, and as long as you could leave a couple of buttons undone so you could show off your hairy chest, you were good to go. Nothing quite matches the swagger men had in the 1970s. And speaking of grooming, ladies too had their own unique products to give them that 1970s look. Sun-In was all the rage, promising sun-kissed highlights. Women would spray it into their hair and head outside hoping for those perfect golden locks. And who doesn't remember the smell of Love's Baby Soft, a signature scent from the 1970s? The sweet, youthful fragrance was a defining smell that had all the girls wearing Baby Soft. But I'm not sure the ad campaign would fly today. When the telephone that hung in the kitchen rang, it was
Oh my god, that took me a while to understand why he said that the advert wouldn't like fly today. Loves Baby Soft because innocence is sexier than you think. Oh my god. Oh my god. Imagine how things like this was normal back then. If you saw that on an advert, I would think this is like to catch a predator advert, you know? Whoever calls goes into jail. This would never, ever, ever happen nowadays. Like text like this on ads. That is crazy. That's crazy work right there. Did they actually not have to like think about things like these back then or what? Or maybe because it was, I don't know. I don't know. Weird. But yeah, that would definitely not. That would definitely not work today at all.
When the telephone that hung in the kitchen rang, it was always answered. This was before caller ID, so people had no idea who was calling. Can you imagine? You didn't know if it was your best friend or a sales call, which meant there was a chance that you might recognize the voice on the other end and spend some time getting twisted up in the phone cord while you talked. Or you might be yelling across the house to let someone else know the call was for them. Today's kids might find it unbelievable that we willingly picked up the phone without the slightest clue as to who was on the other end.
I have used a phone like this at my grandparents' house. They had a phone like this. Um and yeah, I would not have the courage today because when I was a child I would just pick up the phone and be like, "Who is it?" Nowadays I'm scared. Even if I see it's my friend, I'm like I don't like responding to phone calls, but once I respond to phone call, I won't stop talking. You know what I mean? Like, and if it's like someone that I don't know, then usually I won't respond. Usually. I'm getting better at it though because I'm an adult and I need to do adult stuff and I need to pick up adult calls. You know? I don't know if it's my insurance calling. I don't know if it's a doctor. I don't know if it's job related. So I have to pick up the phone. And I'm not a fan of it, but it's just a thing that needs to be done. So, yeah.
To best capture the moments in the 1970s, you absolutely needed a Polaroid camera. The idea of hitting the button and instantly getting a picture developed was gratifying, but you had to be selective because each roll of film only had a certain number of pictures. And then there was the practice of shaking the picture to help it develop faster, which was just a myth. But you couldn't take the bulky Polaroid camera with you everywhere, so there were also photo booths that were strategically placed where teenagers congregated. Places like arcades, malls, and roller rinks were ideal, so best friends and couples could capture the day with a series of goofy and fun pictures.
I'm stopping the video all the time because this is actually like so interesting. But I do have a Polaroid camera and I do shake the pictures thinking that they will develop faster. But yeah, it's nice to know that it doesn't work. And I wish we had like more photo booths like this nowadays. That would be so cool. Like imagine going to the city with your friend and then you could go to a photo booth and get pictures taken right there and then. I think there are some, but definitely not as much as there used to be. Like I in my city, I don't think I've seen any. If you don't go to like a store, so yeah, bring this back.
If you were to step back in time and visit a 1970s kitchen, you'd probably find a fair share of mushroom-themed decor. Mushroom plates, mushroom curtains, mushroom wallpaper. They were everywhere. Everything back then seemed to have an earthy aesthetic, and mushrooms must have been the perfect fungus to represent that style. I guess you'd call it charm, and every corner of the room seemed to be inspired by it. As you waited for the weekend and that special morning of cartoons, you also needed a sugary cereal to help you enjoy it. The 1970s was all about finding the best surprise toy inside the cereal box. Kids would beg their parents for a certain brand of cereal, not because of the taste, but because of the toy. It may have been a silly game or a small figurine, but it was like finding a treasure when you dug down to the bottom of the box and pulled out the prize. This excitement made morning cereal more than just breakfast, which is much different than today.
See, all of these things need to be brought back. Mushrooms, who doesn't love mushrooms? Mushrooms, they look kind. They're pretty. They're earthy. Bring the mushroom curtains and mushroom garments back. And also, like toys in the cereal. Come on, guys. Come on. Why did you stop doing that? But I hope that they're like in plastic bags or something in the cereal because imagine like that's a huge um what is it called when you get something stuck in your neck as a child? Strangled? No, you know what I mean. That's a huge hazard to have a toy in your cereal. But I'm guessing they're like in some type of plastic bag or something. I'm guessing. I hope.
Opening a beer or soda can in the 1970s was a bit different than what we are used to today. You'd pull the ring back and peel back the aluminum tab. And back then, most of the tabs were just tossed on the ground. These sharp pieces of discarded metal were a nuisance, especially on beaches or places where you might walk barefoot. These pull tabs were just another hazard that we faced, and the tops would change shortly after to the more familiar stay tab that we recognize today. But it was still all part of the fun of living in the 1970s.
Yeah, okay, lovely. I think that's a good idea to make the tabs like that, but why? Europe, why? Why did you make the plastic bottles have tabs that you can't take off? You know, like on the Coke bottles and stuff, when you roll the cap, it stays on the bottle. I mean, I'm guessing that's a good thing environmentally, but it's so freaking annoying. It's so freaking annoying. Come on, like you need to at least make the string a bit longer so that like the cap, like something, do something, do something. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Last but not least, school lunch in the 1970s wasn't complete without a trusty metal lunchbox and the matching thermos. These lunchboxes not only showed off our favorite characters from pop culture, but they often also had their fair share of rust on them too. Any ding or scratch would quickly rust over, and our parents didn't seem to mind either. Remember the smell of opening a metal lunchbox after a long, hot day? Kids today, with their ice packs and insulated lunch bags, will never fully understand what it was like to grow up in the 1970s. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything, and make sure to sign up for the Recollection Road newsletter using the link in the description.
I love this video. I love this video, but seriously, we need to bring some of these things back, like the photo booths, the mushrooms, definitely the pajamas. Like, I'm an adult and I want a Superman pajama. Or whatever this is, the yellow one. Or yellow, sorry, the blue one. I want that. I want that. I mean, we do have onesies and stuff, but look at these, are so freaking cool. What I wouldn't miss is having 3 channels on the TV. I mean, I don't really watch TV that much. And also, if it was safe to hitchhike, that would be pretty cool too. I mean, that would be pretty cool too. We should be more communal. We should be more a community. We should feel safe around each other. That, like, seriously, like, it would be so freaking cool. I mean, I like being in my own home and by myself a lot, and you know, I enjoy just, you know, being in a small group of friends, being by myself. But I would also enjoy if, like, for example, the apartment complex I lived in, we were more communal, like we did community stuff. And hitchhiking just makes me feel like people felt safe around each other, you know. Just, it's cool. It's cool. Why wouldn't you, like, be able to take someone to their home after school? I mean, that's not a thing nowadays. Obviously, it's not, and it would be pretty much impossible to happen. But I would love that. Like, if it was safe, if the people were normal, then that would be freaking awesome. What do you mean? Also, Polaroid cameras and the photo booths is one thing that I love, because I mean, with Polaroid cameras, you get the picture out straight away, and I also like physical pictures because I feel like one day all of our phones and everything is just gonna like shut down and delete, and then we won't have any memories. So yeah, and lunch boxes. I mean, I don't know how I feel about these lunch boxes with the rust and everything, but they do look pretty dope though. But yeah, this the cool pictures and the cool text and stuff you could bring back, but maybe not the rust. You know, I wouldn't like rust on my Lunchables. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, comment down below which one did you think was the most interesting. What do you want to bring back to our generation, because I found a lot of things I would want our generation to have. Maybe don't bring back the chest hairs though. I mean, I'm not hating. Excuse me. I'm not hating on chest hairs. I'm just saying, like the button down with the chest hair, to me that screams like, I don't care. I'm rich. I don't care about you. Vibes, you know, like kind of like very macho. A lot of people do like that though. So take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm not a fan of this look, but there's lots of people that are. So, you know, everybody likes what they like. But yeah, hey, thanks for joining me for this video. And please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.